Ladies and gentlemen, this is Thabit Al-Wadani, and how inspiring, honorable, and enthusiastic to stand in front of such amazing audience, to listen to powerful presentations that deliver by creative guest speakers. Saif Abdul Hafiz. When it comes to English language learning community in Jazan region, his positions as English language teacher at the Jazan University and currently a director of studies with Wall Street English have allowed him to create opportunities for his students to flourish and inspire them to thrive. The 14 years of experience in language teaching have resulted in giving him a clear vision of the most successful and fruitful approaches, methods, and strategies in language teaching, one of which is blended learning. Blended learning is considered to be one of the most effective approaches in language learning because it responds to the learner's needs in our modern and technological era. Saif Abdul Hafiz will draw upon his own experience and other experiences all around the world to demonstrate how to implement that approach in a Saudi context. And he will shed light on the benefits and challenges. Saif, we are eager to get inspired by your thoughts. My amazing audience, please show your eagerness by welcoming him by a big round of applause. Saif, the stage is yours for the coming 35 minutes. Inspire them. 35 minutes. Inspire them.
35. Oh, I love this. Oh boy, you guys are in trouble today, you know. Okay, cool. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to start by saying thank you to the conference organizers who have given me this platform to speak to you today. I'd like to thank Mr. Ahmed Hamzi for this tremendous opportunity. I sincerely am appreciative. I also like to thank those of you who are sitting in the audience, former students who are now my colleagues and co-workers who I consider as friends. It is truly an honor to be standing in front of you. I came to Saudi Arabia about 14 years ago. I came to specifically Jazan. My teaching started at Abu Arish, or in Abu Arish at Jazan Teachers College. I can never forget that day. If I had to describe it with two adjectives, I would say terrified and sweaty. Oh my God, it was so hot. Thank God for Nivea. Couple sprays here, couple sprays there, I'm good. All right, But there are two kinds of heat that I experienced that day. The first heat was the unrelenting heat of Jazan weather, but also the heat of the warm welcome that my students gave me. Because for some of them, actually most of them, it was their first time meeting an American. But I didn't see myself as special. As a matter of fact, I was humble. They were watching me and I wanted to prove myself. There is a quote I live by, and I want your participation to see if you know this quote, okay? All right, is everyone with me? All right? All right, I'm going to start the quote. Let's see who can finish it, okay? Ready? Okay. The quote goes, when one teaches, oh my God, to learn. As I taught, I learned. I learned what my students responded to and what made them bored, what my students liked or disliked. I learned what was culturally appropriate and what was looked down upon. Word of advice to you female and male teachers, more towards the male teachers. When introducing English language, when it comes to clothing, you might want to steer away explaining to your male students what a bikini is. It was kind of an awkward moment, all right? So the next time your student comes, you say, teacher, what's a bikini? Oh, you mean blouse, right? Yeah, blouse. I meant blouse, not bikini. A lot of trial and error. But throughout the process, guess what? I learned and they learned. 14 years later, guess what? I'm still learning. The learning never stops. I come to you today not to tell you what's the perfect method or the ideal method of teaching or learning English. I only come to you today to express my experiences with a learning method that I've been participating in the past year. And that is, ladies and gentlemen, blended learning. I want to ask you guys a question, and I want your own ideas. What is blended learning? Now, teacher Will, he engaged the male students. So today, ladies, I want to engage you. MashaAllah, you guys sang with your hearts. Today, I want you to sing with your minds. Okay? Oh, don't be scared. Oh, okay. Great. We have some participation here. All right. Don't be afraid. Big black guy coming. Big. Oh. Hello? Okay. Excuse me, miss. What's your favorite fruit?
Apple.
Okay, apple. Great. Can I have another one? Okay. Excuse me, miss. What's your favorite fruit?
I think orange.
Okay. So we have an apple and an orange. Can I get one more female participant? Hello? Miss? What's your favorite fruit?
Burger.
Okay, let's try that one again. What's your favorite fruit?
Pizza.
Pizza. Okay. This is not going how I planned it, okay? We got an apple and an orange. Okay. Okay, I'll just answer for you ladies. Let's say banana. Okay. Now, let's say you combine an apple, an orange, and a banana. Okay? Now, what kind of drink would you get? You'll get a pretty tasty drink, right? That's what blended learning is. Wahid, next slide. Blended learning combines the best of online and classroom learning to give students a more insightful look into any subject. It's designed to maximize any subject that you want to introduce to your students. So blended learning is very important. Now, I would like to actually show you a video, if you don't mind. Next slide. Okay. All right, there's no sound. It's just, normally it's music playing, but basically this is just a video that talks about blended learning, interactive lessons. Okay, you can tell, you clearly see that's a computer there. And then a student manual, which I'll explain a little bit. I think that's the pizza portion of the blended, right? Or the burger? I don't know. And then the encounter class. So you have the banana, the orange, and the apple, okay? Okay, thank you, Mr. Wahid. Next slide. Okay. Let's move on to discuss a little bit more about blended learning, okay? We have a process. Actually, blended learning is a process. Can I ask you a question? How many of you use any type of media in your classrooms, like video, audio? Raise your hand. Show me your hands if you use any type of video or audio in your class. Guess what? You're blending. It's that simple. You're giving your students a more interactive experience when learning language. Now, blended learning is a method, and I'm going to explain to you very soon what it is. It really starts with this first section here called interactive lessons. Now, for those of you who want to, easily start blended learning, let me ask you a question, another question. How many of you have a Facebook page or a WhatsApp group for your English class? How many? Raise your hands. Show me your hands. Wow, no men? Only women? So you actually have a Facebook page for your English class. Perfect. You can actually start blending next week or even today. Now, interactive lessons. Do you know how you can introduce that to your students? You can actually, let's say, go to YouTube, go to your favorite playlist of any English lessons that you find suitable for your students. And you can actually post a link into your Facebook page that your students can access. Now, the beautiful thing about interactive lessons is that students can do them at any time. You know, they can access the Facebook page while riding the bus from school. They can pause it, resume it when they get home. They can do many different things with the interactive lessons. This gives them the flexibility to work at their own pace. They're not under any pressure to absorb a lot of knowledge within an hour. So this is the benefit of interactive lessons. They can engage alone at their own pace. If they don't understand, they can rewind, play it again, maybe pause it. If there was a word that they didn't understand, they can look it up. So interactive lessons gives the students that personal experience, without having the pressure of actually completing things. Okay. The next part of the blended learning cycle is workbook activities. Workbook activities. Can I ask you a question? Who amongst the people in the audience today uses Google Forms? Google Forms. One. Okay. A couple. Okay, there's someone on that side. Okay. Google Forms. Okay. Now, we normally use Google Forms for, let's say, surveys and questionnaires. But actually, you can use Google Forms for English lessons, English activities. You can create questions, multiple choice questions. You can target a specific area. So, for example, the first part is interactive lessons, where they listen to a particular subject. Then go to the workbook activities, where they're asked questions about the lessons. And you as a teacher can actually break down the lessons and concentrating on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. And this actually helps support what they have watched from the interactive lessons, the online learning. Now, at this point in the workbook activities, this can be monitored by you. And I encourage you to try to get yourself familiar with using Google Forms. Because actually, there are many tutorials you can find online using Google Forms, which helps you to better understand. For example, Google Forms can also, you can also in Google Forms introduce video with the questions. Okay? You can also have the results. The student, once he finishes the workbook lesson through Google Forms, can see how well he's performed. And you, as a teacher, have full, total control. You can monitor how well they did, which students completed it, those who got how many wrong answers. We can actually monitor the students. And also, we can also monitor the students of which of them who actually access the system. Because if you know by using Google Forms, you have to give your name. So you can actually see a list of your students who has accessed the workbook activity. Again, workbook activities allow the student to work at their own pace. They can, if this question is too difficult, they can kind of step away, take a break, go back to it. They can work at their own pace. Now, the final part of the study cycle when it comes to blended learning is the actual encounter with an actual teacher. Okay? Now, at this moment, the students are already prepared for what the teacher is going to talk about. And what makes this so beautiful is that the teacher is under no obligation to prepare a lecture. He doesn't have to prepare a lesson plan. He can actually group students, pair students, give them activities about the lesson plan, about the lessons and the workbook activities they've already done. So the teacher is no longer a teacher. He's more of a facilitator. He can go to this group, see how they're doing. He can group a weak student a student who's struggling with a stronger student, and he has all the information from the workbook activities. He already has seen who's completed it and who has not. He already has seen which students have so many wrong answers and students who pretty much aced it. This gives the teacher the opportunity to experiment. And this actually brings the creative side out of the student. The students are no longer under pressure to perform in the classroom. He or she can actually relax, no anxiety. Okay. Next slide. Now, when it comes to what we call a flipped classroom, does anyone know? Okay. Does anyone know what a flipped classroom is? Now I'm going to engage some of my male students. I see you. I'm going to engage some of my male students. All right, I'm going to go to Mr. Amr. How are you? Okay, just give me your idea. What is a flipped classroom, in your opinion? No wrong or right answer.
Actually, it's been crossed to my mind, but I'm not really sure about the flipped classrooms. Is it the classrooms which is online or interactive classrooms? Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Turkey? What is a flipped classroom to you?
First of all, I like your pronunciation to my name. And second of all, I guess a flipped classroom is when the classroom depends on the students rather than the teacher in order to make the process of teaching inside the class.
Okay. All right, would anybody else? All right, Uthman?
Actually, most of the work is done by the students at home. So when they go back to school, they only do the exercises and do the tests, stuff like that.
Bingo! Ding, 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 ding! Uthman, collect your prize. All right. That is exactly what a flipped classroom is. It is a reversal of expectation. Students are no longer under anxiety to perform in the classroom because they've already done the work at home. They've watched the lessons, they've done the workbook activity, now they can just relax and have fun with the language. In fact, a flipped classroom in its simplicity is classwork at home and homework in class. This helps both the learner and the teacher. It takes a huge burden off their shoulders.
Sorry. Yeah. We've just heard good news. We have 10, maybe we have 15 minutes.
Okay, they just gave me more time. Oh, boy, yeah, I love this. Okay, all right, so let's move on and talk about some of the benefits of blended learning, okay? All right, now I'm going to go back down to the males to see what they think could be some of the benefits of blended learning. I'm going to go to the master here, man. The master, Dr. Ali Arishi. He is a library of knowledge, and I'm going to use the Arabic word, which is wallahi. I respect you so much, sir. I've known him my entire time in Jazan, Saudi Arabia. He's one of the first people who I have met, and he's always been there, and I really appreciate what you've done for this Jazan region. I sincerely do. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on the spot, okay? Now, in your humble estimation, what do you think is or are one of the benefits of blended learning?
Well, I think depending on what we said, from theory to practice, yesterday we were talking about theories, all of us who presented, and today I see that we are going into the practical part of the blended learning. Actually is what can give us, all the things we need. It's a student-centered classroom. It's a classroom actually where you can mix a lot of things at the same time, with which you can really achieve the best you can from the way you teach inside the classroom. That's blended learning. I think that's my opinion.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Who else can name a benefit of blended learning? You're looking right at me, man. This big black guy standing in front of you. I'm made of chocolate, by the way. Okay. What do you think is a blended learning, sir?
Well, one of the things is that teacher will focus on students' individual differences, where students already prepared at home, so when they come back, he can monitor their progress. So he will focus more on their level so that they can progress throughout the course.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's see. Anyone else? I'm going to choose one more. Oh, Abdullah Qissi. Abdullah, give me a moment of your time, sir. All right. How are you, sir? Okay. What do you think is one of the benefits of blended learning?
I think it is more comfortable for the students, and it is more funny, and they can interact with each other, and together they will learn. Yeah, it is more comfortable. Yes. Yeah. There is no more stress on students like receiving instructions from the teacher. They are doing it with their own. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Abdullah. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to make my way back up here because I do not want to go over the time, even though they've given me more time. What do you want me to do? Dance for them? Come on. Oh my God. I can dance a little bit, but I'm not going to do it now. I love the way the Jazan people dance at weddings, man. If you have a wedding in the future, man, invite me. I will be there. I will eat mendi and I'm a dance. Man, you guys know how to party. Definitely know how to party. So some of you who haven't been to the Jazan region, believe me, these guys are some of the most hospitable people, the most welcoming people in Saudi Arabia, even to other Saudis. Now, I've been to Saudis. I know how tribes work and all, but what's one thing unique about Jazan in particular is that you're welcoming a lot to foreigners. Believe me, man. My students did something very nice for me yesterday. It actually brought tears to my eyes. I'm not going to delve into too much of what happened, but you guys, man, you guys are one of the. I was like a baby, man, to you. Really, you don't realize it. I was like a baby, and you guys, Jazan Teachers College, man, you guys rock. You guys rock. You never notice or you never see the seed that you plant when you first plant it. But to see the fruit 10 years later and to see some of you guys got hair on your faces, mashallah. Guys are men, mashallah, married, have children. I feel very old. Okay, so let's go into some of the benefits of blended learning. Okay, time. First benefit, and these, as a matter of fact, this is not to take away from what any of you contributed. As a matter of fact, there are countless of benefits to blended learning, but I want to concentrate on just a few of them, which is time. Time management. Time is very important when it comes to the language instructor because the teacher can actually already know who struggles with the material. So he can just focus on those who really need that personalized assistant. He doesn't have to waste his time for students who already have a good grasp of the material. He can actually utilize his time better, focusing on those students who really need that extra work or that extra help. So it does save the teacher time. As I mentioned before, preparing lesson plans or lectures saves time with that. He can actually focus more on activity-based things to do in class. All right, next one. Oh, okay. Okay, confidence. All right, students who already have studied the lessons and have done the work at home come to class with confidence, with no anxiety. They've already done the work, so their expectations to perform in front of others are minimal. They don't have to actually be worried of making mistakes. They've already have a good amount of knowledge and practice from the online lessons and the workbook activity. So, and basically, whenever it comes to any second language acquisition, confidence is one of the key elements for success in this particular area. Okay, interaction. Interaction is more fruitful when students are interacting with each other and with the teacher. It actually produces something better for the students in general. All right, they can feed off each other. They can take criticisms better. All right, because they already have a foundation within that. Okay, paperwork. You no longer have to photocopy exercises from a book. You no longer have to photocopy different things. It saves you a lot. It saves you a lot of time, especially a lot of paperwork, because everything is digitized online and it's saved. If you have a Google Drive account, that's it. You have now access to a digital library of all, or at least a digital database of all of your students, and you can monitor them without any use of paper. And also the workbook side of it. As I said before, it eliminates the use of photocopying large amounts of paper, especially when you have class sizes of, let's say, 30 to 40 students. It can be a lot of paperwork there. And the last one, I think, is parents. Now, this one I'm particularly excited about, because parents now have an active role in their child's learning. How? Because through Google Forms, parents can actually be involved or even monitor along with the teacher. They can see the progress of their child to see, okay, if they've done the assignments or not. They can also see the results. They can actually be a motivating factor when it comes to pushing their children to perform better. So parents is a key factor when it comes to the blended learning process. Not a lot of people talk about parents, but once parents are in the know, so to speak, once they have knowledge of how their child is progressing, then they can actively be a part of that progression. 1 minute, okay. Okay, all right, so very quickly, guys, is blended learning for everybody, yes or no? Quick answer. No no's. I like this. Woo, baby. Okay. Listen, if you're nervous about starting to blend, I have news for you. There is no wrong or right way to blend. Let me ask you a question. What if a student cannot access the lessons online? What can you do for them? Do you just throw them in the garbage? Say, get out of here? You don't have internet? Anybody? Okay. You can actually give him a CD of the lessons or a flash memory of the lessons. There are other ways you can go about it. How many schools here do not have a computer lab? Listen carefully. How many schools here do not have internet or a computer to access? You don't. You're the only one. Okay. Which means the vast majority do. Which means if a student has not done the work at home, he can actually do it at school. You can actually spend that personalized time doing it at school. So there are ways of going around some of the limitations of schools when it comes to blended learning. Again, you determine how much you want the class time to be and how much you want the online time to be. You can do it 70-30, right? 70 classroom, 30 online. You can flip it, 70, 70 online and 30 in the classroom. It's really up to you how you want to do it. Okay, I have used my entire duration of the time. I appreciate you. Thank you. I urge you all to start blending right now, today, or as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Saif, for this powerful and thoughtful presentation. I was always wondering about his student passion, but today I have recognized the reason for their teacher. Now, Mr. Yasser, please come to honor our guest speaker, Mr. Saif الحفيظ.
كما نشكر الأستاذ ثابت الودعاني مدير الحوار ومدير الجلسة.